John Hodgson on bike 114 and Ronald Bailey chose the spot to get into an awful tangle. After a close encounter of a different kind, Hodgson went on to finish 11th overall, which was a tremendous performance on a 125 machine. Andy Norris-Jones on bike 115 bombed past a stranded Ken Harris on his way to 8th overall and a win in the 200 class. As Section 2 drew to a close, it was Willie Ireland who held a narrow lead over defending champion Alfie Cox. In typical Roof fashion, the weather was starting to look ominous, with rain starting to replace the earlier sunshine. Not far behind Ireland and Cox was Davies, with the leading bikers overhauling Ben Janssen and Bram Coetzee in their Nissan. Patrick Andrews was still going well, and at the finish of the section was fourth behind the three South Africans, with Bert von Zitzewitz the first of the overseas riders. There were definite signs at the start of the final section that the weather was going to play a major role in the rest of the proceedings. Bex Carolin's prediction was coming true, although Derek Pinoy and Jack Purchase were still setting the pace.
Racing, the object of racing is to win, and when you're running in front, it's the most fun.
Australian-born Robin Yates and Kenny Skoltheimer were piling on the pressure. Skoltheimer was aiming at joining Malcolm Smith as the only Roof winners on 2 and 4 wheels, with Api Reyneke and Lucas Dreyer also going well.
3 jaar geleden was ons 4de algeheel en 2 jaar geleden tweede algeheel. En verlede jaar was ons niet so dit jaar moet ons probeer vir die eerste plek.
While the locals knew a thing or two about keeping warm, Richard Schilling and Fred Levesque were battling to stay in touch with the leaders after being delayed by punctures. Behind them, Bex Carolin and Mike Pretorius were also running steadily, with Carolin pleased with his performance as a weather forecaster.
I was right, the weatherman was wrong.
Philip Malone and Richard Leake in the Toyota were going like a train after having to replace a gearbox, but at the refuel point it was Reyneke and Dreyer who were in a safe lead. They never even stopped at the service point, with Yates and Skoltheimer a long way behind at this stage. Dry rivers the previous day were now raging torrents, and leaders Pinoy and Purchase ran into serious problems at a washaway. Other competitors pitched in to lend a helping hand, with Skoltheimer providing an explanation of Pinoy's plight.
We slipped off the side and we came along and we sort of was over half around, and then we lifted our car on the road, but he was too far off. So then we just rolled him down the mountain to try and get him up, but then we couldn't get it up anyway.
Conditions were now treacherous, with Carolin and Pretorius and the rest of the field closing in on Api Reyneke and Lucas Dreyer, who got stuck in the river. Confusion at a final marshal point was to lead to the Roof producing joint car winners for the second time in its history. And at the finish, Reyneke's wife wore an anxious look.
Was het stadium redelijk ver moest ik verstaan, maar toen ons in die rivier vastgevallen daarom. Dus ik heb een half uur dagen spandeer om uit die rivier uit te komen. En toen is het verschillende andere plekken ook vast is het maar weer met ons eigen hulp uitgekomen.
All's well that ends well, with Yates, who has a penchant for playing the trumpet, and Skoltheimer next across the line to be declared joint winners.
It's been one of those days. The last river's too full, maybe you can get through it. And the mud and the water and they're getting stuck. Time for a beer.
Carolin and Pretorius were placed third ahead of Malone and Leake, with Pinoy and Purchase recovering to complete the top 5. In the bike category, the final racing section was producing a magnificent battle between Willie Ireland and Alfie Cox. The pair were locked together, with often no more than meters separating them as they fought fatigue and the deteriorating conditions. Hot on their heels was Jeremy Davies, who was piling on the pressure and rapidly closing on Ireland and Cox. After all his drama, Bert von Zitzewitz was also going well, but Jürgen Meyer had by this time been reduced to the unwilling role of spectator.
Yes, I decided to finish the race because after the night it's all blood in the muscle and it's too dangerous to drive in this condition. It's better I get out of the race.
A local and his donkeys were an omen that provided riders with more major problems as they tackled another new section of the route quaintly named as Slide on Your Ass Pass.
We're very stuck.
Nothing more than a donkey trail, the wet, slippery and rocky pass produced drama all of its own.
Verdammte. Wenn ich den rausheiß, dann bist du.
For an exhausted Andrews, the pass was almost the end of the road.
Oh, I'm dying.
Out in front, Cox and Davies had overtaken Ireland, who was stranded earlier in the river. The pair made a pact that they would cross the line together, providing the route with another first with joint winners in the motorcycle section.
We've been having such a nice ride together. Earlier on Willie Ireland, this new section that they've just put us onto, sort of halfway around, he drowned in the river. So Jeremy and I meant to pull away a little bit. About 40 k's from home, there's a river crossing and you can't cross it. It's just too high. We tried with 4 Africans and me and Alfie, but the current's too strong. It just pulls the bike down the river. You'll drown there. So the marshal just sent us around and we just went in the back way home. It was quite a hard ride.
Now there was a little horseplay from Cox and Davies on the winners' rostrum, with von Zitzewitz and Kindergartner following the two South Africans home. The spirit of the roof lives on, but it was Yates and his trumpet who brought the curtain down on a memorable event.